Blessings, Shalom fam, welcome to the channel. For those who do not know, my name is Crystal. Welcome. Thank you for the new subscribers. Welcome. So the Lord gave me a dream last night, and sitting with him for several hours today. I love it when he does that. But this word has to do with the prodigals. So if you are a prodigal watching this, this is for you. Or if you are waiting on a prodigal, this word too can be for you as well. God is so awesome, because the dream that he gave me, I couldn't even understand. There was just so many aspects to the dream, and I just couldn't get it. But the more I sat with the Lord, I was able to, the Holy Spirit was able to help me to interpret the dream. So again, 6 hours sitting with him today, but like I said, I'm not going to complain. But I hope this word will be a blessing, both to if the prodigal is watching or the ones who are waiting, because truly God is doing a new thing in his children. Okay, so I'm going to get to the dream and then the interpretation of the dream. So walking in the building, going up the stairs, then I was speaking to Frucci. So Frucci is just a name, a person's last name, a person that I know, that yeah, the person that I know. I'm just going to leave it at that. And he started speaking to me about signing up for baseball. It's funny how the dream used baseball, because he does own a gym. So maybe that's why the Lord used him. But he said if I wanted to join and if I missed a game, it would be okay, because it is just the beginning of the season and that I wouldn't be missing much. I ended up thinking, no, so then I ended up in a room and I seen my dead brother. So he didn't speak. I just seen him for a quick second. Now, for those, wasn't a familiar spirit. The Lord was just showing it as symbolic and meaning in the dream. So then I ended up in a bedroom. I was walking around the bed and noticed there was a man sleeping on the bed. Now note, I did not know who this person was at first, but at the end of the dream, it was shown that it was an ex-boyfriend of mine. So I did not interrupt him, but I walked around the bed, and then I ended up outside of a door. So I was outside. So then I ended up in a swimming pool and with a life jacket on. So I was swimming with a life jacket on just for a moment, and then I ended up at a door. So to go back inside the bedroom, but this time the door was locked to go back inside the bedroom. Then I was back in the bedroom and I was sitting on my ex's lap. He was in a wheelchair. Again, he's not in a wheelchair, not that I know of, but I hugged him I was happy for him letting me back into the house. I started speaking, and as I was going to say miss, like as if we were getting married or something, that was that feeling that I got. I was about to say my, like miss, and then the man's last name, thinking that it was my God-ordained spouse. But when I seen his face, I noticed that it was not. And when I seen his face, I seen it was my ex-boyfriend. And I quickly stopped myself from saying miss, and then I ended up immediately saying Mr. and then his last name instead. I know that he wasn't the one, so I'm supposed to be with. So then I gave him a kiss on the cheek, and that was innocent. Like I didn't feel anything from it. It was just a friendly moment. And then all of a sudden, like I noticed that my left foot was tightening. Like I can't even explain it. It just felt like it was really tight. It was squeezing sensation. The squeezing was so tight it actually woke me up. And then that was the end of the dream. My foot wasn't hurting, but it was in the dream. God will do that sometimes to me. I actually physically feel things. So now, the interpretation of the dream. So walking in a building, going up the stairs, meaning that you are walking by faith and being led by the Holy Spirit. You have gained a more higher level of spiritual understanding and revelation in God. The man Frucci in the dream represents the Holy Spirit, leading you and guiding you. Baseball is about teamwork, and it is about cooperation. That you need to meet God halfway and to be a team with him in order to move forward with him where he is taking you next. My back is getting all hot. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So at first you start at home based. That was with God. But there were bumps along the way, living in the world, etc. Basically a prodigal. So now that you have come back to God, you must go through the bases, or I should say stages, in order to get back to the home base or the home plate. The home base or home plate represents back with God, in alignment with Him, where He needs you to be for your life, like your home plate. This is where God needs you to be in the first place in order for Him to move you forward in all that He has ordained for your life. So in baseball, you have a home plate. That's what it's called. Then you have first base, second base, third base, before you make it back to the home plate. So the first, second, and third base represents the stages with God, which I just said. So there are 3 stages. And now I don't know what they are, but however, God sees it fit. Now, if someone were to hit a ball, they would hit a home run. Like if you hit that ball super far, you would hit a home run, right? So then, hang on a second. So when the player would skip through the entire bases or stages that they had go through, or go right on to home run. So at a quicker speed, they will skip all the bases. You'll just go and hit a home run, right? So that's what God is doing. Some of you prodigals are diving in deep and being obedient and not prolonging things, which because of your obedience, God is going to catapult you right on through without stopping. As to some of you will have to go through those bases or stages, however you choose. But in the dream, Fuji said that if I missed a game, it would be okay because the season just started. So some of the prodigals, you prodigals, are going to have a late start coming back to a full circle with God, but you are coming home. Some are in delay. God said all that He said He is going to do, speaking to those who are, so I'm speaking to those who are waiting for their prodigal, sorry, my arm, and to come home, if you guys are listening. So without that knowing for the baseball and the bases, I never would have got it. That was all God, how He explained it to me. But truly, this is a new beginning. It is a new start, a new season. It's happening now. So when I Googled the baseball season when it starts, it's actually said March 30th, which is not even that long, far from now, as we are February 4th today. So again, let God speak if this word is for you. So seeing my dead brother represents the things that are dead. It is no longer. It is the past. It is dead and gone. You are entering into a new spiritual journey with God, taking a new opportunity in life, a willingness to embrace change of the unknown. So you know God is leading, but it can be scary not knowing what is going to happen, the fear of the unknown. But God's saying He's got you. So seeing my ex on the bed sleeping, this represents that you know you need to accept the consequences of your own actions that you have made. This explains the ex-boyfriend. The expression says, one has made one's bed, so one must lie in it. You have done something or some things with that person, the ex, a wife or a girlfriend or a husband or a boyfriend, and now because of those things you have to accept the consequences of whatever that has taken place with that person, and because of this there is still somewhat of an emotional attachment because of that sinful lifestyle that you had with them. Now ending up in the swimming pool with a life jacket on, this represents that because of all the stuff that has happened in the past, the things of old stuff that you did while living in the world, and the consequences of it, God is doing a spiritual cleaning within you. And because the heavy burdens of the life that you carried from the past are so heavy, it can make you feel like you are drowning, you're about to drown. So that is why you are wearing a life jacket, or I was wearing a life jacket. What the purpose of wearing a life jacket is to help keep to somebody from drowning in the water. So at first the Lord, I felt like a scripture from that, but then as I went over the dream some more, the Lord was giving me Peter walking on water, and I didn't think about that, but Lord, you take all the glory for that. So just like Peter in the boat, and when they tried to, when Peter tried to walk on water, God is using the swimming pool with the life jacket in this situation. So I'm going to read Matthew 14, verse 24 to 33, and it reads, "The disciples were in trouble far away from land, for a strong wind had risen, and they were all fighting heavy waves. About 3 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came towards them, walking on the water. When the disciples saw him walking on the water, they were terrified. In their fear, they cried out, 'It's a ghost!' But Jesus spoke to them at once. 'Don't be afraid,' he said. 'Take courage, I am here.' Then Peter called to him, 'Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you. Walk on the water.'" Now, before I continue, thank you, Holy Spirit. So, just like the prodigals are like a Peter. So, because like Peter denied Jesus 3 times, they also denied God also, but they are coming back. Sorry, I just didn't want to forget that. Continuing with the scripture. "Yes, come," Jesus said. So Peter went over over the side of the boat and walked on the water towards Jesus. But when he saw the strong when he saw the strong wind and the waves, he was terrified and began to sink. "Save me, Lord," he shouted. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him. "You have so little faith," Jesus said. "Why did you doubt me?" When they climbed back into the boat, the wind stopped. Then the disciples worshipped him. "You really are the Son of God," they exclaimed. Now, even though it is going to feel scary and there is going to be turmoil, Jesus is there to help pick you up. But you must not doubt him, and you must have faith in him, that he has your back. Just like Jesus helped Peter from drowning, he will also help you from drowning. Again, this is teamwork. You have to work with God and meet him halfway. He isn't going to do everything for you. You must make the effort and put in the work to where he is taking you. Like I said, he's got your back. This also explains after I got out of the pool and I was worried, and because I was afraid that the door wasn't opening. So this is the feeling of loss of self-worth and your identity. But God allowed that door to open because he's giving you a new opportunity in life. God is doing a new thing. Hang on a second, I'm going to pause it. Sorry. Okay. So now I'm sitting in a wheelchair with my ex. I did not know that he was my ex, like I said, until I seen his face. So you are now letting go of the past, and that God is breaking you free from the ungodly soul ties, the covenant, and the agreement that was made. That was not supposed to be happening in the first place. The wheelchair with the X represents that they are in need of God's salvation, healing, and deliverance. So the X that was in the wheelchair, it's just like your X. They need their deliverance, their healing, their salvation with God. They are still of the world. Now, hugging him was just a friendly emotional response towards the person. You still care for them, but in a godly way. The kiss on the cheek was just a moment of peace towards them. This was not an intimate way. Now, knowing that when I seen his face that it wasn't my God-ordained spouse, that's the same way with the prodigal. They know that who they are, who their ex is. They know that it's not their spouse, and they have identified you. They know who you are. They are awake. Okay, so 2 Corinthians 13:12, and it reads, "Greet each other with a sacred kiss." So this was an innocent kiss, representing kind of like a letting go kind of kiss. So this letting go is of the remaining things that are left moving forward in the new purpose and direction God has for your life, your destiny. It is going to feel uncomfortable, and you are going to feel the pressure of it from within because of all the stuff that has happened in the past and all the consequences that follow. So this explains why my foot felt very tight in the dream, like I felt the pressure. So the foot represents one direction or someone's purpose in life. The left meaning the remaining of things, and the tightness of the foot was the meaning. So I just looked up the meaning of the tightness, which is that it makes you feel very uncomfortable and it's not going to make you feel good. So again, it's not going to feel good as you move forward into the new. but to know that this is just, it's just a temporarily thing that you're going to go through. It's not a permanent thing. But know in all this, God truly has your back and he's got you. So yes, so if this word is for you, like I said, take everything back to God. But this is what God is truly doing in this time, and a new thing. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I broke it down pretty good for you guys to understand. But like I said, take everything back to God if this is for you. So I love you guys, and I hope you guys are having a blessed Saturday, Shabbat, rest day. And I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.